This is a Wilwood Big Brake Kit install video that I filmed last year with Chris Van, but I ended up losing the audio because of mic issues. So to salvage this video, I'll just be doing a voiceover. This is the Wilwood Big Brake Kit from Battle Garage RS. These are made to order and are the best big brake kit option I've used so far. They come with calipers, caliper mounting brackets, rotors, stainless steel lines, brake pads, instructions, and all the mounting hardware. Chris is using a brass wire brush to clean his rear bleeders. We ended up putting factory bleeders in his rear calipers because his old speed bleeders actually failed. I've driven in beams and 7A cars with these brakes. One of my favorite things about these brakes is that you can retain the factory brake master cylinder, since Battle Garage actually spec'd out these Wilwood calipers to have piston sizing to suit the brake master cylinder bore size. This is actually the day before Chris and I went to Laguna Seca for a track day, June of last year, 2019. So yeah, we're actually doing this install the day before we're supposed to go to the track. Here we decided to compare the brake caliper weights. Looks like the OEM caliper with brake line and pads weighs about 7.13 pounds. Here Chris is doing the same thing with the Wilwood calipers. Got the caliper bracket, pads and line. And looks like that weighs about 4.14 pounds. So we're talking about is pretty crazy that the Wilwood setup actually weighs 3 pounds lighter than OEM. Here we're going to compare the weights of the factory brake rotors versus the Wilwood units. Looks like Chris's original rotors weigh about 7.08 pounds. So let's take a look at the Wilwoods, and the Wilwoods are about 13 pounds just about. Comparing rotor diameters, you can see a huge difference in size, but a big consideration is that for only a 3-pound total brake system increase, you actually gain a huge amount of stopping power as well as brake cooling ability. And it looks roughly like 9 inches for the OEM rotor versus 11 inches in diameter for the Wilwood rotor. In the last part of this shot here, I point out the weight reduction and cooling ability in having slots cut out in the top hats by design, as well as the cooling ability of the larger fins in the rotors. Alright, so here we're going to show you guys how to modify your dust shields for the Wilwood Big Brake Kit. So you have to remove the dust shields on the OEM caliper brackets to fit the big Wilwood calipers and brakes. There are 2 spot welds that hold that dust shield onto the OEM caliper bracket, and then these 2 pieces will separate. I have a spot weld cutter kit, but regular drill bits or even an angle grinder will work to remove the spot welds. Here Chris is drilling the spot welds out. Make sure to wear eye protection when you do this. Don't be like Chris. Alright, so Chris finished separating the dust shield from the caliper bracket. You can see those 2 holes where the spot welds used to be. Chris is pointing out where the spot welds were on the OEM caliper brackets, and he ended up cleaning the residual nubs off with an angle grinder, and we painted the bare metal spots. So here in the instructions it shows you have to modify the Wilwood caliper ears so that they fit on the caliper brackets. Chris is demonstrating how the bracket goes on the caliper. And here you can see where the calipers contact the OEM caliper mounting bracket, and the caliper ears themselves need to be clearanced. So if you can imagine, like a flat spot needs to be ground down or clearanced to fit onto the vehicle. We ended up using a belt sander to flatten that part of the caliper ears, but a hand file and some patience will also work. I'll make sure to link Grandmighty's install of the Wilwood Big Brake Kit as a reference, since that's actually what we used as our reference to modify these calipers. So we also decided to film a quick tip of mine of how to install the new wheel bearing dust caps. And looking at this, it feels kind of weird how short I used to cut my hair, even though it wasn't too long ago. So you can see how Chris's original dust caps are all beat up from hammering. And you guys are probably familiar with how these hammered dust caps look. So the key is finding a tool that fits the outer diameter lip of the dust cap so that the actual cap portion does not get hammered on, as you see me doing right there. So what I'm holding in my hand is a Mark IV Supra rear wheel bearing inner race. And that's been like my miracle tool because it's good for these dust caps, output shaft seals on some transmissions, a lot of other stuff. But in this instance, as long as the outer diameter is the same, any similar tubed shaped tool should work. The key is you want to hammer on that lip and not on the face of that dust cap itself. And new ones are always tough to get in. You kind of got to squeeze them in there. You can see me going back and forth, hammering in side to side of that dust cap. And there we go, undamaged. So it's 8:45 p.m. at this time, and Chris had to be at my house the next day at 6 a.m. for our track day. At this point, we still had to bleed the brakes, function check the car, make sure there's no leaks, and then even I prepped my own car after this. So needless to say, we had a really late night. But the calipers are on, and you can see the huge amount of clearance between Chris's 15x8 plus 0 Kosei wheels, thanks to the compact size of these calipers. We cut this video short to get back to work, but that'll pretty much wrap up our impromptu install of the Wilwood brakes. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry again for losing the audio. This was recorded last year and I was pretty embarrassed about it, so that's why I held on to this video for so long. But a very special shout out Greg Schultz, who actually pushed me to make this video happen even though I lost the audio, and he suggested I just do a voiceover for it. So yeah, thank you guys again. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out the website in the description below for merch. Consider supporting the movement on Patreon, and look forward to more cool content and hopefully audio with the videos. Thanks again, you guys.